now. Let's go.
Okay, it happened again. Hey, y'all.
Make sure you get
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Y'all hold up. Wait a minute. Let's get some crack a minute. If y'all knew the struggle we have been through already to get to where we are, y'all would not believe it. Y'all would probably be like, what the heck just happened?
Right.
Listen,
y'all. So before we start talking about what we just did just now, before we went to fly, welcome to Girl Talk, Let's Talk. I am your host, Bri, and this is my lovely co-host, Mrs. Z.
Hi.
And welcome.
This is literally never would have made it. Like,
right. We need to be playing that song in the background because y'all, I thought we was just gonna be late. Let me tell you, I'm clumsy, just a tad bit. People who know me don't go there. But I'm sitting here trying to make sure everything is good or whatever. Yeah. I don't even know what I was doing, and I knocked the whole glass of wine. Not half of it, the whole glass of wine, all over the table, all over the wall.
Oh, it's okay.
But we here.
Yeah. You know how you see things, like, I swear it was all in slow motion. Like those bounty commercials.
Right.
Like, no. Like, I really felt like it was one of those bounty commercials. I was like, oh my God.
And my instinct, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like 2 minutes before we gotta go live. How did I do this? But we got it together.
We made it.
How y'all week been?
Definitely. It's Thursday, one more day to the weekend. So I know you guys are happy. I'm happy. How your week been, girl?
My week has been good. It was a short week. I was kind of thrown off because Monday was an off day, and I ain't never off on Monday. So my whole week was kind of pushed back. And I was thinking today was Wednesday. So, but we here. Yes.
Lord, let's drink to that at this point.
They said we're a little silver. Not yet. We ain't even drunk out of it yet.
Listen, I don't even know how it came out. I was like, God damn it. Dang it. See, y'all, last live, I think I actually made it the whole live without cussing. But that, I think, is that word, the D word in the Bible? Bri is like my human Bible person. Like, I'm like, I didn't need to call her. Like, hey, can you tell me about this story? She knows everything. But like you guys, thank you guys so much for the ones that watched last week. Yes. We talked about everybody's favorite, most awkward topic to talk about, cheating in the after show.
And we found out that our lovely co-host is a cheater.
Once a cheater, but we also found out that once a cheater, not always a cheater. I am rebuked and saved. Okay, so thank you, Tracy. She asked a question: who's all a cheater? So we definitely get that one. But yeah, our last week's episode was amazing. I loved it.
We had it was a really good episode. We had really great feedback from it, and I feel good about it.
Yes. Thank you to Zane and to Corey. We want to have, guys talk, and we don't want it always to be one-sided, and we want to give everybody a platform to talk, because there's a lot of things the guys was kind of spitting game that I didn't know. So
right. So this week, we just want to go ahead and jump right into, we felt like what better way to come out of cheating than with self-healing, okay? Yes. So today we want to self-heal and rejuvenate. So I think the lovely Miss Z had posted some questions on Instagram that we want to kind of go over really quick.
Yes.
I know I post some on Facebook, but I didn't get many people that like me this week on Facebook. It's okay, because I was a little off my game this week, but I'm going to be back next week.
I had to tell them what I realized with people is, which I love my followers, but people are lazy on social media especially, so I think it's easier to do polls. So I did some polls this week. So 2 of the questions I asked, the first one was, have you properly healed from your last relationship? Now that's deep. 80% said no and 20% said yes. So that's a lot. And some out of these 80, I know a couple of these people that are dating. So we're gonna get into that too. And then the other question was, how long did it take you to heal from a breakup? I had different kind of like different months, but out of all the ones, 40% said 6 to 12 months, and 60% said 1 to 2 years. So I think that's reasonable. I put it 3 days. I was surprised, like nobody clicked that one. So because look, some people they don't mind. So that was our poll for this week. So I would love to start off by asking my lovely co-host,
Yes.
how do you heal? Your tips, tricks, what's your process for self-healing?
So for me, I'm 100% pro therapy. I have a sitting appointment with my therapist every 2 weeks. I think I mentioned that before on one of our other podcasts, but I feel like therapy is one of the number one ways, but it doesn't just stop at therapy. I got an idea from one of my favorite movies, War Room. In that movie, there's an actual war room. Like the lady, she created a war room, and it's kind of like her closet. Well, it is her closet, and she writes down like what she's battling, what she's going through, what she's trying to overcome. And she put them on sticky notes and stuff, and then she go in there and pray. So in my last place, I had my closet. That was my war room. Right now, the space is a little different. So my bathroom is more like my war room. Like I get it in. The bathroom is where all of my praying and all of my crying and all of I just leave it all there. And then of course journaling. Journaling helps a lot. And those are my
She's so good. Like, listen, y'all, I literally aim to be Bri in my life. I do. Because I'm like at this stage. So for me, when I first started writing, like, what is self-healing to me? And I started thinking about it. First thing that came up in my mind was shopping.
Shopping is one, I forgot.
I think shopping is one of those things that used to make me feel better. But I was like, shopping, drinking, which is a negative in a sense too, because sometimes it's quick to overindulge, and it's easy for me to overindulge when I'm going through things by drinking. But when I started thinking about actually what, like the root of it, at things that are really subconsciously, journaling is big. I like expressing, getting things out. I'm very like visual rather than auditory. Right. So like actually seeing what I wrote down, replaying it, rereading stuff and stuff like that. I love that. Family. My family, spending time with my nieces and nephews, like I love them so much. So sometimes when I kind of get in my feelings, I'll just pop over at my sister's house or just spend time with those. Like they center me, it grounds me, because I think I hate to say like family's all you have, but like for me, like it's so important. So it kind of heals with me. Like my sister, I could come in a room and I don't have to say nothing, and she'll just be like, she just knows. Aww. Like she just knows. Like she'll just like, come here. Like, and I just bust out crying and I won't say nothing. So like that's like my thing. And also traveling. Oops, sorry y'all seen that. I'm big on traveling. I love taking a trip somewhere, self trips, like even day trips, like going to Atlanta or Georgia or where you are. Just close trips. That's another thing I love doing, because you get away. I haven't got to like big solo trips like out of the country yet. But I see all the time, like Black girl solo trips, all vacations and stuff, and I envy those women. Like I envy those women one day.
Listen, I'm all for a good drive. Like especially when I'm in my feelings, sometimes you just need to drive your feelings away. Mm-hmm. Get in the car and just go. Like one time I got in the car and I drove to Florida. And this is when I was living in Georgia though, so it was only like a 4-hour drive, but I wasn't even expecting to go to Florida. I just got in the car and I was feeling some type of way and I was just driving, and when I ended up, I was in Florida. Thankfully, I have a sister that lives in Florida, so I had somewhere to stay once I got there. But yeah, I mean, driving, shopping is definitely one of mine. But shopping, I'm an emotional shopper, so I shop when I'm happy, I shop when I'm sad, I shop when I'm excited or celebrating something. Like I have to learn how to cut back on my shopping, because I'm definitely an emotional shopper. But yeah, all of your things, those are all good. And I do self-care dates.
Oh yeah,
So,
I used to do that. And I
Yeah.
stopped for whatever reason. I don't know why. And I'm just saying, like, I'm a TikTok girl. I'm a TikTok girl. I love TikTok. If y'all ever need any ideas, Pinterest, go to TikTok. But they have like this thing where you do a whole bunch of dates, you put it in your jar and you just pick it out once a week. And it's like really cute. And I always said I want to get
instead of doing the same thing every week, because
Mm-hmm.
you know I take myself on my seafood date. But this week I switched it up.
Okay.
So, you know, usually I take myself on dates on Fridays. So I went Monday this week and I took myself to brunch, then to the grocery store.
Okay.
See, I switched it up a little bit.
So you was a little tipsy grocery shopping.
No, because I only had one mimosa.
Oh, okay.
One mimosa, and I was feeling good. You know, I wasn't tipsy. I was nothing. It was just, you know, I barely drunk it, but
you just okay. Well, that's good. I love being a little tipsy and shopping. I said, my husband, I don't even want you to propose. Just give me a little tipsy and just take me to the Sassy Fifth, Neiman Marcus. Anyway, just let me pick out everything. And just give me a credit card and I'll online shop. Like, cause you don't think about nothing when you feeling good. You like, ooh, I'm like, this like that. You buying a fur hat and it's June. Like, but yes, you guys, what are your, you guys let us know what you do for self-healing and all of that. But I think before we can kind of really get into more about self-healing, kind of like what it is and what it means to each of us and the importance of it. I think that's one of the biggest things that we're here for.
right.
So
you want me to start off?
I'll let you start.
Oh,
Y'all see our hair too. I'm sorry, this is like off topic, but I love like we kind of like have like
I know we didn't even plan this.
We did not.
My locks wasn't giving what I needed them to give today, so I was like, what's something quick I can go to real quick? You know, thank God for Old Faithfuls. This one's Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. But so one of the topics is what's the importance of healing or self-healing, you know, before getting involved with someone or, you know, just in general. And I feel like hurt people. That's what I'm gonna say. Hurt people. And it may not always be intentionally, but you do. And it's sometimes you end up hurting yourself as well. And it's because you bury so much stuff in and you say, oh, I'm fine. But when you know you're in deep down inside, you're really not fine and you just try to keep moving on. Like the stigma in the Black household is you don't talk about what you're going through, you know, just go. But I want to like kind of get rid of that generational curse of like not talking about things because you can't heal from anything if you just bottling up. Like, and it's not just relationships, like past relationships, it's with family and friends and work and everything, you know. And it starts from childhood on up. You have to heal from everything that you've been through. Like, you keep all that trauma built inside, and then you're just gonna explode, and then you're gonna end up hurting someone because it's just like, you know, you go through things when you're a child, you know, and then whether, you know, it might be you might was sexually assaulted as a child or whatever, you know, you go through that and then you bury it with sand. Then you get older and then you go through, you know, issues with family, whether it's like daddy issues or mommy issues or sibling issues. You don't ever get over those, you just build those with sand. You know, and then you go into your adulthood and then you go through relationship issues and you don't get over those, you just build those with sand. And now all of this stuff that you just pushing down saying, oh, I'm fine, you know, you're not really fine, you know? And then it causes ripple effects. Like it causes you to not value who you are, you know, not, you know or appreciate your work, you know? And I can speak for that because as a child, well, just growing up, like I had a mother that I lived with and then my father. But a lot of people know that my biological father wasn't a part of my life. You know, where I did have a father in my life, he took care of me. He did everything that he was supposed to do on his end, or more than he was supposed to, because it wasn't his responsibility. You know, inside I still lacked, you know, something. I still felt like there was a void that was empty. And because of that void that was empty, I allowed a lot of different things to go on. I allowed a lot of disrespect to go on. I got in a relationship with someone trying to fill that void that I was missing, thinking that, okay, well, now I know my biological father at this point, but he doesn't seem like he wants to have a relationship, and that's kind of hurtful because it's like, well, you're excited about meeting them and you're wanting that relationship, and then just to come and find out like they really don't want the same relationship that you want, and you're thinking that, oh, now this void is going to be filled, but it's not. So then you meet this guy, and then now he's telling you all these good things. So I love you, and this, that, and another. Oh, you're beautiful in the beginning. So you're clinging to that, thinking that, oh, this is gonna fill what I'm missing. This is gonna, heal that void inside of me, but it doesn't. It doesn't. So now you're so stuck on the beginning. You're so stuck on what was started out as, but you're looking past the disrespect. You're looking past the cheating. You're looking past the abuse. You're looking past the, just everything that goes on, and you're just turning a cheek to it because you're like, well, he told me he loved me.
So it's better than nothing.
Right. And then now you start to feel like you're not worthy. You're not worthy enough. You don't see your worth. Like, for so many years, I hated myself. And I'm going to say that I hated myself for so many years. I didn't like the way I looked. I hated the way I looked. And I would, like, try to make myself be an image that I wasn't. So I would, like, wear these really tight, short clothes, revealing clothes, because I wanted to be an image that I wasn't, because I hated who I was as a person. And that was the hardest thing for me, was to, like, face the fact that I didn't like who I was. People saw me on the inside as this bubbly person. I mean, on the outside as this bubbly person who always had a smile on her face, so loving, so caring. That's me. That's who they saw. That's the persona I put off. But on the inside, I was like literally like dying, like on the inside, like I was crying every night, and I was literally asking God, like, why am I this way? Why did you create me this way? Like, it was so much stuff that I had all of inside that was just literally eating at me, And because it was so much was eating at me, like, I didn't recognize who I was, and I put up with a lot of things, like, they say that God take you through things, but sometimes I feel like you take yourself through things.
Sure.
Like, every obstacle isn't God taking you through that, but you're not listening to him because you're wanting to do things your way. And that's where I was putting myself in predicaments because I wanted it this way. I saw it this way, and I wanted it to be this way. I had everybody else telling me, no, this is not for you, or, things that they seen that I need to correct. And I would get mad at people, and I would block them out of my life. It's like, you just don't want me to be happy, this and that. But I wasn't happy, I wasn't happy. And I just feel like burying all of that allowed a lot of stuff that shouldn't have happened, So when I finally was like, okay, I don't like the person I am. I don't like this. I don't like being in this space anymore, I was like, I got to do something different. So I started going to counseling. I started seeking help. I started working on the things that I felt, that was empty and needed to be filled. The issue with my biological father, it will never be something that's going to just completely be gone. It's not. But I also have come to terms with, it's never going to be that father-daughter relationship that I've always longed for. So I'm okay with knowing that we talk, we have a relationship, and that's what it's going to be. I'm an adult now, and I had to be okay with you can't force anyone to be what they don't want to be.
That's true. Dang, that's deep, y'all. I don't know how to follow that one. That's so true. She touched my soul. Literally, that is true. I think you can only be you and who it is, and they can either accept you or they can't. And it's crazy you say that because my first like therapy session I ever went to, because I'm always, like you said, I think in a Black household, it's kind of a little taboo, like mental health and just, you kind of don't talk about this, like get over it. Like, okay, you complaining, but this person has it worse, or this person has it worse. And I think us as humans, not just as Black people, just as humans, we always try to rationalize, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling depressed, or I'm feeling down, but another person has it worse than me. At least I can eat today.
Yes.
Or at least I have a car, at least I have clothes on my back, but that doesn't like know how you feel.
Right.
Like it doesn't. Even when like rich people and all that, we always make a joke like, dang, if I was rich, I wouldn't have no problems. But at the same time, they do have no problems, and we can't just ignore it by kind of not really by downplaying how we feel. Like, oh, it's okay, it'll get better, over that. But I'm definitely like that. I'm like introverted. So like you can poke and poke and poke and poke, and I won't say nothing, and eventually it's just like
it just explodes.
Right. And we shouldn't be like that. We should be able to talk, get what we have to say, and heal as we go along. And I think for everybody at different points in their lives, and not always, I think sometimes people think self-healing is just a one-time thing. You have this big event, it happens, you heal, and you're going to forever be great, but that's not it. I think it's a process. It's ongoing. You always want to self-heal. Like I know people that are older, parents, grandparents, they're still trying to be better, a better version of who they are, and continue to heal and grow and stuff like that. And that's another way how you break those generational curses and all those things so they don't go down to your kids.
Absolutely. And I always say healing isn't a one and done deal. It's not a one and done deal. Like you can't say, okay, I went to therapy, now I'm done. It's not. It's something that you have to continue to work on, because things are gonna always, you never know, like things are gonna always trigger you at some point. And you probably don't always know all of the triggers because they haven't come up. But when those things come up, you still have to continue. So you can't say, okay, I went to therapy yesterday, I'm healed, I'm done. No, it's something that it's an ongoing process. That's a part of your health. If you're not mentally healthy, you're not healthy at all. You can be physically healthy, but if you're not mentally healthy, you're still not healthy.
Yeah. The same way you go to the doctor. Like I think I had wrote in here. I don't know where I wrote it in here, but I was just kind of saying like pretty much the same way you go to the doctor if you break your arm or twist your wrist or whatever like that. It's a process to it. You break and twist your wrist, they wrap it in a wrist thing. You get your X-ray, they thought it's broken, you need a cast. Then the cast takes time. After the cast, you might need physical therapy. Is a process for it. Right. So I just think mentally and with our heart, we don't take that process out. Right. Just because it's not physically aching doesn't mean
it doesn't need that healing. Right? That's
definitely.
Because you can fracture your ankle or your knee or something and not even know it because it don't be hurting. Mm-hmm. But then once it gets worse, because you haven't took the time to see about it, now you at the part where
going crazy.
Right.
So let's take some comments. So Brown Girl and
that's Kelly, my cousin.
Hey Kelly. She said, I wish more of us would try our therapy. Spice Lady said, I agree, it is a huge tool. Kelly also said, so true, physical and mental health go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Definitely so. And then Tracy said, right, trauma is also injury. And Spice said, amen, Bri. We are mind, body, and spirit. I think that's the biggest thing. We have to kind of understand it. It all goes together.
Right.
Like it genuinely do. You can't have one without the other.
Absolutely.
And it'll go. You can go sometime. Like you can go, physically right but eventually it's gonna wear down. Or you can go, you know, mentally you could be happy, but physically your body couldn't be where it needs to be, and eventually it'll break down. So I think it definitely happens.
And you can only hide for so long. Like you can hide behind everything. You can hide behind your shopping. You can hide behind makeup, hair, and all that. But you can only hide for so long. And the truth is gonna eventually come out, and you're gonna have to face those. A lot of people don't like to face what we call their demons. But sometimes you have to face those. You have to fight those in order to, not sometimes, all the time, you have to fight those in order to be a better you, a healthier you. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. I'm not the same person I was a year ago or 4 years ago, because I took the stand to say, hey, I don't like who I am. I don't like who I've become. So let me change that. You know, let me work on me. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to work on you and separate yourself from everybody else sometimes. Because you have to get to, like, you can't have, the foundation is not solid if you're not solid.
I agree.
You know, we talked about solid foundations. If you're not solid, your foundation's not going to be solid. So you have to say, okay, let me remove myself right now. I want to be here, but I can't because I'm not there right now. And it's okay to say, I'm not okay. You know, I think as humans, we feel like we have to be so strong all the time and so put together and so well forced for everybody. But it's okay to say, I'm not okay. I'm not okay, but I will be, you know. I might not be okay in this moment, but I will be okay.
Eventually I'll be right.
I'm going to get through this. You know, I'm going to do what I need to do to work to get through this.
Definitely. I definitely agree. I think, and we have to understand too, not all trauma or issues is like a boom effect. Like I think we equivalent a lot of stuff healing to like domestic violence, sexual assault, mental assault, just a lot of different things, like a lot of those big moments that might or might not happen in a person's life, which obviously you want to heal from those. But it's also little things too, like, you know, it could be things you didn't even think was serious, but you had to realize, like, why do I keep jumping from relationship to relationship? Like, even if y'all in it amicably, it's still something that you need to heal from and learn. Because every time you have a friendship, relationship, whatever you go through, whatever lesson you learn, is you always want to reflect on it. Even if it's something as little as a job, like you leave one job going to another, you want to reflect on that. Like, even if you didn't leave on some, oh my God, they got me effed up, you might want to know, well, what could I done differently? Or what could I change going into the next job?
Or what am I expecting in the next opportunity that I didn't get in this past opportunity? I definitely agree. You always have to look at everything as a lesson. You know, if you don't learn from what you go through, then you're going to go through it again until you learn that lesson. So, yeah, you definitely have to look at everything as a lesson. Like, and not necessarily in a bad way. It doesn't always have to be bad.
Tracy said the prevalence of PTSD in youth is highest among Blacks, and 42% of kids do not have access to proper treatment. We have to do more by starting with us. That is very
oh my gosh.
true.
So it's crazy that she said that. So today, so I'm going to share this with y'all. I haven't shared this with a lot of people. So today I had an interview with the Big Brother, Big Sister program, because I feel like I have so much to give and I want to find a healthy way of giving. So my healthy way is by being a big sister to someone, you know. So we went through the whole interview today and we were talking and everything. And she, when I say she dug in deep, like they dig in deep and they want to know everything from where you was born, how you grew up, like all of that stuff. Like they want to know. And I get why, because they want to know like how to place you with a little bit.
Yeah.
So we were talking and everything, and somehow we got on healing and self-healing today in our conversation. And she was like, you know, I've been really excited about talking to you for the longest. She's like, ever since I seen your application come to my desk, she's like, I was just reading, because you have to write this whole paragraph on why you feel like you will be a great big sister and everything. So, of course, I'm selling myself. But she was like, no, she's like, once I got your application, she was like, I just felt like you were someone I wanted to meet. She was like, I felt like I knew you just from reading your paragraph, your what is it called?
The essay?
Yeah, essay. And she was like, so when we were talking about like trauma and stuff, because she asked about, will I be okay with dealing with a child who has had past trauma, whether it's like drug or abuse or anything like that. And we just got on the topic of like children and not getting the proper therapy and the proper help. And that's what this program is so big on, because they want to be able to, show that we are people just like them that may have went through some things they went through, or had the challenges that they have, and that they can overcome those. So yeah, that was like something amazing today. I was like, oh, I love that interview. I was like, yeah, I like that. But
that's good though. And like you're making an effort. You're in the process of getting it right. Like a lot of people talk about it, but I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm not sleepy at all. Like I don't know, my body is like on some crazy stuff right now today. If y'all only knew. But a lot of people talk about it, but they don't actually want to be a part of it, be a part of actually do everything. So I never love that. Let me read the other comments. Start with that one.
Okay. Tiffany said you have to accept the things that you are going through and setting goals to get through it all. It's not an overnight process. It takes work. I've learned that in my past that you've got to learn to forgive those traumas in the past in order to move on in life. That is so true. And Kelly says self-reflection is important. It's so important because sometimes the real issue might be just you. Woo, that's a whole word right there. That is a whole word. How you view yourself will dictate how you allow others to treat you, and how you allow others to view you as well. Like when you aren't happy with yourself, when you don't love yourself, you will allow people just to do whatever and take over, just. I'm sorry, y'all. Just start off a little. You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, y'all. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. I apologize. I am let Bri finish up. I just gotta get some water. I got really, really nauseous. I don't know why.
But while my co-host is getting together, I'm gonna read some more comments here. Let's see. Spice Lady says, yes, you have to be honest with yourself. Being self-aware is a start. You also have to want to change, want to be better. That is so true. Tracy is agreeing with Kelly. And Tracy also says, I have passion for kids going through things that have been passed off. It's not easy working with these kids, but every milestone you see a blessing. That is so true. Now, one thing about Tracy is Tracy's going to have somebody's kid, and she is going to do something with their kid. Like, especially if they don't have that stable foundation, she's definitely going to be the one to help them and push them and show them that they can be whatever they want to be. So that's one thing I do admire about Tracy, because she do not mind taking on somebody else's responsibility. So I'm gonna keep moving. Our next topic was how long do you think you should stay single or, by yourself before you move on after being in a relationship or move on to other relationships? For me, I say there's no time frame for that. I feel like there's no time frame for you to heal. Like everybody's healing process is different. Like you have to go through things your way in your own time, and like you don't want to rush anything. Some people say, "Oh, I just need a week and I'm good." Like, but everybody's not the case because every situation is different. Every relationship, whether it's with your mate, with family, with work, with friends, like all of those are different. So like you may have feel some way, and you can't seem to get past that, and whereas someone else may not feel that same way, and they can just get past it really quick. I feel like there's no time trait that should be put on like self healing. Like you have to do what you have to do to get to where you need to be, and you take that time. I was when I got out of my relationship that I was in for 7 years, I felt like okay, I could just get out and just jump into something else, but I couldn't. I couldn't just jump into another relationship because it's all the hurt that I felt from the last relationship. I was taking it and I was like putting that onto others. Like I didn't trust. Like I couldn't feel like I trusted anyone. So I was always questioning when someone said that they was doing something, or they said that, or if they didn't, if they say they was gonna do something, they didn't do it when they said they was gonna do it, or they weren't on time when they said it was gonna be on time. Like it was always a question of, well, what are you doing, or who you was doing it with, and that came from me not being completely healed, or even, sometimes I know like people will be like, oh well, you know, I've healed from this, but you're still looking at like Facebook or Instagram or social medias of your ex and seeing what they have going on. If you still feel like you have to troll through their pages, you're definitely not healed. Like you need to take a step back and try to figure out what it is that's causing you to keep going back. Because one thing I do believe in is soul ties. And I do feel like, soul ties are easy to get and hard to get rid of. And those aren't something that you're gonna just get rid of overnight. Like you have to take the time to like unravel what goes on. It takes a while to get raveled into something. So it's gonna take you a while to get untwined from it. It's just like a rubber band ball. Like if you have one of those big rubber band balls, of course it's gonna take a minute for it to become a big ball. But once it is a big ball, it takes a while to like pull those rubber bands apart to get to back to a single rubber band. I feel like the healing process is just like that because you may pull one rubber band and it might snap back. So that's something that you might have to circle back on to figure out like why am I snapping back here? Like why didn't this just pull off easy like the rest of them? So I definitely feel like there's no time strain that you should put on like healing before trying to get involved with anyone else. I am going to go to the comments here. Let's see here. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. So, I don't want to read her notes. I don't know. I don't want to read her notes. So I'm gonna just keep going. I'll just keep going. I think the third topic was I got that written down right here. What do you guys think? I'm gonna just get some comments from y'all first. What y'all think? Y'all have anything y'all want to say? Anything y'all want to add in? Don't laugh at me. I'm concerned. Let's see here. I wanted to get the last topic. We might have a short one tonight. So the last topic was the outcome of healing before trying to pursue others or anything else. So Tracy said healing isn't easy. It's just picked back up with so much needed therapy. That is true. That is so true. I am a big advocate for therapy. Like I didn't know how important it was to have therapy until I started therapy. And now my therapist, well, not the one that I have right now. I don't really too much like her right now, so I'm looking for another one. But when I do have a good one, she's like my best friend. Kelly says, how do you know when it's finally time to leave a relationship? That's a good question, Kelly. That is a good question. I feel like because you have gone through all of the emotions of like the love, the sometimes hate. I wouldn't say hate, but the dislike, and you go through the hurt, you go through all of those emotions, and then once you get back from going on that trip, you're like, yeah, I deserve better. Like I'm an advocate for like writing stuff down. So I'm always like I'm a big overthinker. I overthink a lot of things. So I feel like I write down my pros and cons. So I'll be like, okay, so these are the pros of this relationship and these are the cons of this relationship. And then if my pros are more than my cons, it's like, okay, maybe we can work through these cons. Or if the cons are more than the pros, like I'm starting to do an evaluation, like what am I here for? Like if this is just like a one-sided thing, or if it's like I've sacrificed so much and I still turn a cheek to everything and I'm not getting anything else out of it besides a broken heart and sometimes I love you, like it's time to move on. It's time to just go. Like I feel like when you start to sacrifice who you are for someone else, that's when it's time to leave. Like you never want to choose anyone else over yourself, and then you never want to what's the word I'm looking for? You never want to go against who you are and what you stand for to say that you have a mate. Like that should never be the case. Terrence says, most of the time you've been new, you just dwell in the spot for whatever reason and lie to yourselves without false hope. That is so true. I feel like everybody knows before it's time. Like you check out before the relationship even ends. Like with me, I always revert back to the 7-year relationship because it's the longest relationship I've been in. But I knew because I had already checked out a year before we actually went our separate ways. Like I was tired of the back and forth. I was tired of the lies. I was tired of the disrespect. I was tired of being made look like a fool in front of other people and stuff. So at a certain time, I was like, yeah, I'm over this. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be completely transparent. I didn't leave because I didn't feel like I would. I felt like if I left, I would have to start over. And starting over to me looks like I don't know what the next person will be like. I don't know what they like and what they dislike. I don't know what their triggers are and what their triggers aren't. So I'm gonna just stay here because I know, like, if I do this, this is gonna upset him. But if I don't do this, then it's not. Like, so for me, I stayed because I felt like I was comfortable. I was comfortable where I was at. I was familiar with it, and I didn't have to figure anything or anyone else out. So that was a big thing for me, like a very big thing. But when I finally was like, me being comfortable is making me uncomfortable, I was like, yeah, I gotta get up out of this. Like I gotta leave. This is not gonna work. So I had already checked out a year before we even split. But it was just the last couple of events that kind of helped me push my way on out the door. Like I was just like, yeah, I deserve better. So I'm just gonna keep pushing. Kelly says, or Tracy says, I knew when I just didn't care anymore. I was drained and depressed, and I left. That's real. Um, Kelly says that's a good message. Never choose anyone else over yourself. Absolutely. I had to learn that lesson the hard way. But I'm glad I did because I say all the time, like, I don't regret anything I went through because it made me the person I am today. I sacrificed myself a little bit, but I gained a lot from that. I gained a lot of knowledge. I gained a lot of understanding about who I am, what I like, what I dislike, what I would accept, what I wouldn't accept. So in the end, a lot of people will say, "Oh, you wasted your time." It wasn't time wasted because it's something that I needed to go through to learn. So it was a lot of time that took me to learn a lesson that probably wasn't supposed to meant to take that long to learn. But I got to where I needed to be, and now I'm here, and I'm healthy and I'm whole, and I love me, and that's the most important thing. Like, I love me some me, like. I'll take a picture in a minute. Like, and before I wouldn't take pictures. I hated taking pictures. I hated seeing myself in pictures. I hated seeing myself in cameras. Like, I hated all of that. But now it's like, oh, let me snap this picture real quick. Like, when somebody used to tell me that I was pretty, I used to be like, pretty rare. Where do you see that at? I'm ugly. And I don't even say that anymore. That doesn't even come out of my mouth anymore. Like, I'm far from ugly. I'm very beautiful. And God made me uniquely and wonderfully made. So, like, of course I am beautiful. I might not be the same beauty that someone else is looking for, but I have my own beauty. So I would have never learned that if I wouldn't have went through what I went through. Um, Going back to the comments, Spice Lady said, I knew it when it was disrespectful and nothing was changing for the better. Of course. Tracy says, I waited 7 years to get into a relationship again, and it took me a year later before I agreed to be in the relationship. I think I picked a good one this time. That's great. Let's see here. Just some agreeing here. Tracy says she's playing Church Girl by Beyonce. That's one of my favorite songs by her right now. Kelly says the Lord has the way. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. It says the way it be taking us too long to learn lessons. That is so true, but it's a good thing though. We learn them as long as you learn the lessons. It don't matter how long it takes you to learn them. As long as you learn them, that's how I feel. Because I'm a slow learner sometimes. And I think that's all we have today. Our episode is really short today. I'm sorry, y'all. But I have some really good affirmations for today that I wanted to share with y'all. I thank everybody for joining this podcast today. It was a very short but very informative podcast. We actually went through a lot of different topics this week, and I just was not okay with any topics. Because I know last week we told you guys that we was gonna do vanity this week, and I just couldn't. It wasn't something that I could get with. It's a very good topic, but it's just I couldn't. It wasn't giving what it needed to give for me. And then we changed it to something else, and I was like, yeah, I'm not with that either. And then literally on Tuesday, I was like, what about this topic? And we both agreed, like, this is something that we needed to talk about because a lot of people don't talk about healing enough. Like, they talk about what they went through, but they don't talk about the process of healing and how they heal from it. So I felt like this was a very great topic for us to do. Tracy says healing from grief. Now that's a good one. Now, I feel like there's no real time limit on that either because people grieve differently. And sometimes people will say, well, yeah, I'm over, or like I've processed it and I'm okay, but I don't think you ever really are okay after grief, like especially if you lose someone or something. Like, um, so another transparent moment about what, almost 2 years ago now. It'll be 2 years ago at the end of this month. I suffered from a miscarriage, and I was super, super excited that I was gonna finally, because anybody who knows me knows I want to be a mother so bad. Like I always talk about being a mother, so I was super excited that I had finally got to that point, and I shared it. I had only shared it with a few close people. My sisters was the first ones I shared it with, of course, because they're my best friends. But and we were all excited about it. I'm a planner, so as soon as I found out I was on Amazon, I had my little registry. I had stuff up, and now I see why people say don't get too excited until after the first trimester. So right before I went for my checkup, I started to like go through this like very bad pain, like and cramping, and then I was like having a lot of heavy bleeding, and so I ended up going to the ER, and the doctor at ER, they tested me, everything. That's like, well, it seems like you're experiencing a miscarriage. So I said, seems like, or am I? Because I need to know. I need you to tell me, because in my head, no. Because I read this. I read where people bleed and they be okay and everything. And so, like, but they just kept saying it seems like. So I think a part of me knew that that's what was going on, but I I kind of just was like, no, no. So I kind of just told myself that wasn't what the case was. So then, like a week later, I went to my OB, and then she confirmed it. And it was just like, it hit me all at once, like, wow, like I really just had a miscarriage. Like I'm not gonna be a mother. Like, and it took me through a state. Like I was really depressed, like for a minute. I took time off of work, and people didn't know why I took time off of work. That I just told everybody that I was stressed out with work and I just needed, that time. But in reality, I just couldn't get over like that something that I wanted so bad was taken from me in like just in the blink of an eye. And like now I don't have the opportunity to be what I've always wanted to be. And still, that was like what, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, and still to this day, like I still have my moments. I still have my moments when one of my friends are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm pregnant!" Like I'm happy for them, but then I go back to, oh, like it didn't happen. I didn't get to have my baby, like. So I feel like healing from that grief, like, and I have been to therapy for it, and like I said, I'm still in therapy right now, but I don't really too much like my therapist at the moment. But healing from that grief takes a while to heal from, because like I said, that was 2 years ago, and I still deal with it at times. Like I don't tell anyone, but I still have my moments where I cry, or like I feel sad, or I kind of get down about it. But then I also look at it as, if when the time is right for me, God is gonna bless me with a healthy baby, whether it's a girl or a boy or whatever, maybe 6 tuplets, and I'm gonna be I'm gonna be a great mom. So like, I just have to look at the upside to it and the bright side of it, and not dwell so much on the actual the grief part of it. Oh, thanks, Tracy. Tracy said you'll be a great mother one day. Thank you, Tracy. Um, how do I cope with my grief? Shopping. Shopping heals my soul. shopping, my therapist, and my crunch bars. I love crunch bars. That's how I heal with it. That's how I cope with my grief. Oh, y'all gonna make me cry. Okay, I don't want to talk about this so more. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. That's so sweet. I do feel like honestly I would be, but we'll see. One day I'll get there. Um, I'm coming up on my hour though. I thank y'all so much for joining the live today. Like I have my affirmation that I want to share with you guys. And I think this was a great. I read this affirmation this morning, and this affirmation was really a great affirmation, especially it's because it ties into what is going on. Ties into the topic for today. So I felt like this was a perfect affirmation to share with y'all. Before I do, Spice Lady says there will always be times when you feel a significant loss. You're right. God will bless you to be a mother and you will be amazing. And hopefully I get my 6. Let's not forget that. Yeah, I don't know why I want 6 kids. Like somebody tell me not to have 6 kids. I don't think I will have 6 kids, but I have 6 stuck in my head. Like I feel like I have to have 6 kids because I've seen that number in my head for a long, long time. So I feel like 6 is the number. Like it has to be 6. And I might not actually give birth to 6, but I can adopt and I can, blended families are amazing. Tracy said, "Don't call me. You ain't gonna babysit Tracy." And so the affirmation that I have for you guys today was, when you have been through a season of struggle and stillness, believe the next natural step to the experience is movement. You see yourself on a mission of guaranteed success. Have faith that what you experience today will change tomorrow. You will have done all the work you needed. Keep moving, climbing, trusting, and welcoming your blessings. Don't give up before the miracle manifests. Keep going. This came right on time today, y'all. Like, when I read this morning, I was like, I gotta share this with my podcast today. Like, this is everything that I've been dealing with the last couple of months and everything. So, like, I feel like this was like the perfect thing to share with y'all today. I love you guys so much. Thank y'all for joining the podcast today. Thank y'all for improvising with me today because we had some technical difficulties and I am going to jump off. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, I want to go check on my co-host to make sure she's okay. And I love y'all, and I hope that you guys join us again next week. I don't know the episode for next week, but I will let you guys know before Thursday. Love you. Thank you guys for the conversation. Thank you for tuning in. And you guys have an amazing rest of your week.